So you've got cancer, now what? I've been faced with that many, many times in my career. For the last 26 years, I've been a financial advisor working with a multitude of clients who have had lots of different issues come up in their lives, and cancer is one of them. I don't believe there's anybody in the United States that hasn't been touched by cancer at this point in their life, whether it be a family member, immediate or extended, or a friend or a colleague from work. What I typically think of when I hear for the first time somebody that I'm working with has cancer is the 6 areas of your financial life. What do we need to be thinking about with respect to your finances in order to take away the stress, take away the uncertainty of what this means for the family and for the person who is sick. At the same time, there may be questions, medically related questions, that need to be answered as well. And to the extent that I can offer some advice via my experiences and so on, that's important as well. But let's, for this discussion, talk more about the 6 areas of your financial life. So the first one is looking at your current situation. Cash flow, budgeting. What's this going to do to the overall family budget, and how can we positively affect that, knowing what those additional expenses might be? You might not even know what those additional expenses are at this point. So let's try to uncover that together. You don't have to go it alone. You don't have to do any of this on your own. I think it's a personal compliment for people to want to share with me what's going on in their life, and I have relationships with clients that are pretty deep, and so I want to make sure that I'm helping that individual, helping that family out wherever it is that I can. So looking at the present situation is number 1. Number 2, looking through your insurance protection and making sure, or making sure that you have the right amounts of coverage and the right kinds of coverage. And you might say, well, gosh, I've got cancer. How am I going to apply or be able to provide any additional coverages than what I already have? Well, there are plenty of ways to do that. There are policies that can be issued without proving insurability. So we would want to look into that. We'd want to look into what you have through your work by way of benefits and so on. There may be little known benefits to you that we could take advantage of, that by talking with the HR folks at your employer, that we might be able to take advantage of that, again, you weren't aware of. So from my perspective, I don't want to leave any stone uncovered or untouched. Another area that we're going to look at right off the bat is your estate planning related to the protection needs and so on. I want to make sure that you have all of your assets owned correctly, beneficiaried correctly, that you have estate planning documents that include not just your will, but also your living will and your healthcare directive and power of attorney. So if you become incapacitated prior to death, that somebody can take care of the financial affairs of the family. So these are things that need to be taken care of, or at least discussed, so that we can make sure that we've covered all the bases. And many times I find, probably 9 times out of 10 at least, they're not covered. And things are in disarray, and they need to be put in order. And most clients, or most people, don't know what the next steps are. They don't know what they need to be doing at this stage in their life, and that's why they need a coach or they need a guide. So I'm happy to provide that for the people that I have opportunity to meet and talk with and work with. So estate planning is another, again, the 3rd area, or one of the 6 areas of your financial life. The other 3 are related to retirement planning, and so then associated with that and accumulation of various goals, like maybe education for the kids. How is this now going to impact those goals? And I think for the person who's sick, they're interested to make sure that life goes on, and that that we're not going to adversely affect the kids' education. We're not going to adversely affect the spouse's retirement, eventual retirement, that whole thing. What about taking time off of work, and how is that going to work? And can we afford to do that? So these are all great questions. And frankly, I think part of my job is to outline all the various questions that they might have, and even before we get to that point, I would want to make sure that we just got on the table, what's on your mind today? What's the most important thing? What are you stressing out about? How can we answer those questions? What research do we need to do in order to put your mind at ease? So I mentioned 5 areas. The 6th area is tax planning, so it's income tax planning. Unfortunately, that doesn't go away, so that would be another area of your financial life that we'd be looking at. So I think through looking at your financial picture from a comprehensive standpoint and a holistic standpoint, including in answers around the medical community, people have asked questions about qualifying for Medicaid previously, and do I need to do anything differently with my assets in order to help me qualify for governmental aid now that I've contracted cancer? These are all great questions, and for every individual it could be different. So getting in touch with the right professionals, the people that do that on a day in and day out basis, is important. And here again, you need, I think, a guide or a coach to help you think through those topics and create basically an action plan that we can collectively follow to cover, as I've said before, cover all the bases.